Welcome to the Foundational Infrastructure Working Group. My name is Aram Price with Broadcom. Ned, welcome. Share my screen. All right. Does that show up for you?
Yep. We can see it fine.
Hi, Felix. We just got started.
Hello, sorry, a bit late.
No worries. Let's see, we'll go through these. I don't know if anybody else is looking into this. Felix mentioned, Behan mentioned that there's a new SDK coming. I saw that the work was ongoing, but I don't know if anybody else from SAP is going to be looking at this while Behan's gone. This might be a good first project for somebody. It's not super Cloud Foundry-ish. It's just kind of refactoring the API usage. Leave that as is.
You mean to fix the tests and everything?
Yeah, so the AWS deprecated their V1 API, and the V2 API has changed a lot of the way that the modules are organized. So it's not it isn't a drop-in replacement. So I think there's some looks like there's some manual work to use the existing to use the updated API.
Okay. So this would yeah, we would need to test this as well, right?
Yeah, I mean there's tests in pipeline. I think the first project, the first part, which will be a little bit of a hiccup, is just getting it to compile because the APIs are different enough that there's some work.
Yeah, okay.
Seems like Behan's got some work started, but if anybody feels like picking that up, that's probably an interesting first project. I think Behan had mentioned that you have some folks in SAP who are thinking about becoming contributors, which is why I was mentioning that.
Yeah, it's a good point. I would mention this PR as well in our daily.
Yeah. Here. This seems like a reasonable change. To my windows here. I'll go ahead and base and merge. This was somebody from our team that put this in. Might be nice to have somebody from SAP just take a quick look if you have any thoughts on this. It's just update to the description about how the Posh SCP works. Move that. You. Mm. Let's see all the approvers. Yeah, that seems good. I'll leave that open. Pending review. I'll ask for some folks in our team to pick this up. This is vSphere work that's been happening inside Broadcom, I think. Um, and oh, they're ready for review. Let's see. Prefix allocation. SHA-1. Where are we on this one? Are we ready to merge this, Felix? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I would appreciate some more reviews. So
Yeah.
you had a review. I don't know how if you feel good about it. Sure, then we can go ahead. But there's still a lot of pending reviews, and it seems
Yeah.
there's not even partially has been reviewed.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah. I'll go over this again. Let me grab this and throw this in our daily for today.
Yeah, I
So
also advertise it every day in our daily, but everyone I think gets scared of 3,000 lines added and
yeah.
2,000 lines removed. Yeah, it's a pretty big change, unfortunately, but yeah, not much option of splitting this into multiple PRs.
Yeah, I fully agree. I went through it pretty closely about 2 weeks ago. I know there've been some changes, but I'm generally feeling pretty good about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll push some folks from our side to add some to take a look, but yeah, it's hard to get people away from their day job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So we have not we have a test already running on some test landscapes, but yeah, soon we will also enable it on maybe a staging landscape, and then at least we have some real life tests.
yeah. Are you thinking about doing it on staging before the PR gets merged?
Yeah, we have forks.
Okay. Okay. Um, once you do that, do you want to maybe drop a note in here about the scale of that, or like sort of a little bit about that environment so that we can, so that, I mean, just for me, it would be interesting context to know, you know, where have you, how long has this been running and what are the deployment sizes, just so that we have a little more
Yeah.
visible confidence
Yeah.
about the behavior of the system.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I will do that.
Okay, great. And I'll put this on my stack for this week. I'll at least look over it today or tomorrow.
Thanks,
But
Aaron.
yeah, you're welcome. Um, I guess this seems fine to merge. I don't know if we wanted. Actually, I'm going to ask. Behan had a thought about this. Just ask him. This doesn't seem urgent, but
Yeah. He's on vacation for 3 weeks or something, but yeah,
yeah,
let's see.
yeah. I think we can come back to this. I think I think the confusion was that there's this there's SHA-1, which is for upload release, but we also have this SHA-2 flag in the standard options for every Bosch command, which is confusing. I think probably why somebody assumed that this was also SHA-2. Anyway, don't assign myself. Do we have any other?
So it's more like this can be closed, right? Probably.
It's not
Or-
the instructions are wrong because the instructions say that upload release takes a SHA-2 flag, but in fact it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
If you see from the help, which I'm assuming is right, the upload release command only takes a SHA-1 flag, but there's a
Yes.
generic SHA-2 flag that is global Bosch options.
Okay.
So these are global flags, I think, application options, and then
Okay.
these are the specific options for upload release. And I don't know enough to say whether this should have been changed to match this, or if there should have been an additional SHA flag that got added. There's some questions about backwards compatibility and such there. So,
Okay.
yeah, not totally sure. I think I'll leave that for the moment. CF9, get that one.
Are you discussed already acceptance tests?
Which one? Yes.
This
No,
one,
we did not. We did not talk about this one
okay.
yet.
Okay, yes, so we are introducing also Bosch acceptance tests for the basic prefix and IPv6 allocation. And we had some general questions about
Okay.
these acceptance tests. So at first, some of these features are only implemented for the AWS CPI, even though they could potentially be enabled for other CPIs as well. But we did not found in the code that it's like that part of the code is only executed for a specific hyperscaler. So we wanted to know how this is usually being done. Like if there's some feature that's different on another hyperscaler, how is this handled? So we're thinking about just skipping it because there is, I think, an environment variable or something you set anyways, which hyperscaler you are on, and then only enable these tests if you're on AWS or something.
There's
Yeah.
there's a helper file, additional helper file that you can use methods from there to check if the current infrastructure is AWS or GCP, etc. But it looks like for most of the tests, the idea behind them was for the person running them to use the tags to exclude or include particular tags instead of the tests itself to check if the current EAS is relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, we just thought, for example, if we now introduce these tests and then it will, for people running all tests or not excluding those tests specifically, they will start running and then it will be failing for all other hyperscalers besides AWS.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the way, because I think I think that the intention of these tests is to be a conformance test for the CPIs. So I think you could exclude it on IaaS type, but probably maybe a better way to do it would be to exclude it on capability. So rather than checking to see if it's AWS, instead check to see what capabilities that the hyperscaler has available. There's a little bit of indirection there, but I could imagine, people may be wanting to do a conformance test with OpenStack, but they know their OpenStack cluster will never support IPv6 for whatever reason. So they might disable that part of the conformance test. Also, it makes it a little more clear what the intention is, rather than it's about the capability rather than being about the place those tests are being run. I think that seems okay. I haven't looked in these much. I'll try to take a look and see what the like sort of general test tooling looks like. But I think initially it could just be a flag that says, enable IPv6 testing or conformance or whatever. I'm not sure how that would trickle down into the tests, whether that would be passed as a environment variable to the rake task and then converted to a tag, include or exclude tag in RSpec, but there's probably some breadcrumbs in the code that might point one way or the other.
Yeah, I think the RSpec tags could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, then I guess probably the PR is fine like this for review.
Yeah.
But then again, just an example for the prefixes, the test is looking into the AWS metadata, and that's hard coded. So
yeah, it might be good to. I think the stuff. I'm not so familiar with the internals of these. My thought is that if there are portions of the tests that need to look into IaaS specific things, that there would be a method, a per IaaS method that would be able to do the evaluation. So rather than having the test itself, like here, fetch IPv6 from AWS metadata, that this be a fetch IaaS IPv6 data, or if there's even a way to rewrite it in a more Linux generic way. I don't know. In an ideal world, there would be a function that would do this generically on any deployed stem cell. If there needs to be specialization on a per IaaS basis, then I would say hide it behind a method that just is only implemented for AWS and throws an exception when called on other IaaSes, because those will have to be implemented. But that way the test itself is not IaaS specific, but the helper method sort of hides that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I have to log off, unfortunately. Yeah. See you next week, I guess. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. Are there any other, Ned, is there anything else that you have queued up that you'd like to look at?
I opened up a draft. Again, it's acceptance test for the NIC group parameter that we introduced for AWS. It's working so far. I just need to do some edge cases to make sure. But again, with the NIC groups, I think this is something that's only available for AWS.
Okay. Maybe it would make sense for yeah. I wonder if it makes sense for these to be in the AWS CPI specifically. Yeah, I can take a look at the NIC group thing once it's ready. It might make sense for that to be tested. Yeah. It may make sense for it to be, if it can't be applied to all IaaSes, maybe it makes sense for it to be tested as a specific AWS feature inside that CPI. I'm not 100%.
Be outside of the acceptance tests.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because really the intent of the acceptance tests, I think the prefix allocate the IPv6 allocation stuff does belong
Hmm.
in acceptance tests because ultimately probably we want all CPIs to support that capability,
Hmm.
possibly, but the internals of how AWS does NIC grouping, maybe that's not a cross IaaS, like a cross hyperscaler behavior we need this that all CPIs to support. I haven't really thought about it too much, but that might be the um, that might be the right answer.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds right.
yeah, it could also graduate too. Like if we decide that there's something about NIC groups that makes sense across all IaaSes, then that test could be moved out of AWS and applied to figure out a way to like express that across all the IaaSes.
Okay. Then I'll figure out a way to refactor the prefix and IPv6 allocation to make it IaaS independent, I guess.
Yeah,
No. Mhm.
yeah, that seems good if possible, and if not, then we can talk about it again next week or whenever.
Yeah.
Excellent. Close these. Review. Um, where are we with this? Yeah. Okay. I think looks like we're still chewing on this. Okay, I'll leave this for now. Um, okay, yeah, we're just waiting for that to land. Does anybody on SAP side have any context on this?
Unfortunately, Ahmed is on vacation.
Okay, this looks good to me. I'm going to ask one of our people who has Azure experience to just take a look. I think this probably looks good to merge. I'll ask him to merge this in when he's had a chance to take a look. Right. Issues. This is the one that Behan, I think, was looking at, and there's a PR open for that. That's in flight. Looks like this was all talked about. Movement there. Okay, nothing about VirtualBox. Don't think we've got anything more here. Don't think there's anything else in these steps. Promotions. I don't think I have permissions to do stuff in the community repo, so I'll leave that to Behan when he's back. Anything else from you all that we should cover?
I just have one question.
Yeah.
So I think last week one of my PRs in logging in metrics, so in the syslog release repo was merged.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how the release pipeline is run. So yeah, I mean, I talked to Jovan from SAP, and he said he will contact I think Broadcom, so I think maybe you.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. On the wrong network. Give me 1 second. I need to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't see. Let's go look at that repo. You said Bosch syslog release?
Yeah, exactly. Just syslog release, and
Okay.
I don't think there's a push. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The PR was merged last week.
Okay. Let's see. Let me check and see. I don't. This is. So I was looking on the team that is doing Bosch stuff inside of Broadcom. We have a concourse instance in it. We don't have anything for syslog there, so I will ask. I will ask. Oops, sorry, I lost my window there. I will ask our logging and metrics group if they know where that is. And see what's going on. There was a big push earlier this year from Broadcom management to move a bunch of things out to open source. So I'm surprised that it hasn't been moved. But if not, I'll post note. And when I figure it out, I'll put something in Bosch Core Dev. Or maybe in general. But if I just let me know if that. I'll let you know what I find out.
Okay, yeah, I am in the Bosch dev channel and also in the general channel. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're super welcome. I think that's probably it for the meeting, folks. Thank you for showing up, and maybe I'll see you next week.